3, 2, 1.
Now we can hear.
Wow.
Why, thank you to one of our kind viewers out there for pointing out that they couldn't hear me and Corley.
So we're gonna go over this again, Corling, because they couldn't hear you because of some technical difficulties. Not to put any excuses, even though some fighters out there put thousands and thousands and thousands of excuses.
Well,
The headphones are
they
too
heard
heavy.
you, but they didn't hear me like point out all the
Well,
excuses,
right,
which was the egg
but we
weights
want to hear what
and
Corling
the
has to
crab
say.
mentality ref and Anthony Durrell and the spiked water and Breland and all.
And
I couldn't, and the costume, which you just showed. You showed the costume, 45 pounds. I mean,
Corling mentioned something that he said in the post fight interview.
But
So
I'm gonna say it again.
say it again.
say it again.
Yeah, yes, I've seen the fight. And I measure Wilder by what he said immediately after the fight. He said, you know what, Fury is he's the better man. He was the better man tonight. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and watching this fight. That's what he said. That's what I measure him by. Now, I measure his team by whatever they were putting in his ear and all the people saying this and Telly Swift and all of that. That shit doesn't matter to me. Immediately after the fight, that's what I'm counting. There you go.
Immediately after the fight, the first thing I saw was the excuse that the costume was too heavy.
No, immediately
Yes.
after the fight, in the ring, he didn't say anything about his costume.
He might have walked to the locker room and gave an interview and said my costume was too heavy. It sat my legs.
In the ring,
So that's
He
it.
said-
It doesn't matter what he says after that.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. And Fury was the better man. That's exactly what he said. That is exactly what he said. That's it. That's it. That's what I'm going after. That very first reaction. Not when all the shit sinks in and all the people handle things in different ways. Did he handle it poorly? Absolutely. But in the ring, that's what he said. That's what I'm going by.
What about? And I'll post this question to both of you. What about all this stuff about him going on and on and on about Fury cheating during the fight, about the glove coming in, the hand coming out of the glove, and somehow miraculously getting back into the glove, about
You know what,
egg
man?
weights,
Let's touch on
and
that.
let's touch on
Let's
that.
touch on that. Let's touch on that. Because look, this is what I'm gonna say. Because if you have a reputation, like say I have a reputation for
Being
for
late.
murder. For what?
Being late.
Okay. You would expect me to be late, right? And I am serially late. I mean, I'm admitting it, right? And that's a lot more than what Fury can do, right? Because look, we have all this shit with Tyson Fury. We have all of the drug crap, and then the UCAD crap, and then the cocaine, and then the alcohol abuse. These are all forms of cheating, right? Now the
Not
glove
cocaine and how does alcohol give you an advantage?
failed a test. He failed a test. Cheated the sport. He cheated the sport. In
Cocaine
its
and
purest
alcohol are
form,
not helping you.
in its purest form, he cheated the sport because
Okay.
he got suspended up and he couldn't fight. Right?
Gotcha.
If
Yeah.
it's a banned substance and you
It's
test
banned.
positive, whether it's alcohol, cigarettes,
Right.
whatever it is, whatever they
Whatever
ban,
it is, if it's on the ban list, that's it.
then
That's it.
Then it's cheating. I agree with that.
You can't. The thing is, there is a reason before all of this to not trust Fury. Now the gloves, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Egg weights, look, I don't think so. But then again, I don't know. I don't know any of that.
So you're calling JD's incompetent because he sat right there and he watched him wrap his hand.
I'm not saying anything about JD's. I don't think he's a good trainer. I'm not going to count him as elite. I'm not going to count him as anything. I don't know who he is. He doesn't have any other fighters. He doesn't have a big stable. So no, I don't know JD's. What I'm saying is that there was cause to not trust Fury before all this shit. Why can't he fight in the UK? You see what I mean? Why can't he go back and forth? Why can't he have a fight in his home country where he would probably make the most money and get the most notoriety? You see what I mean? So look, people can call it excuses if they want to with the gloves and all of that. Fury has a checkered past with a whole bunch of crap, wild boar meat and all that. What was the banned substance that was on the list that he tested positive for?
I don't remember the name of it.
It
I don't
was.
remember.
Oh, I was about to say clenbuterol, but sorry, Don.
That's
But
your other
anyway, exactly.
That's another cheater.
But even still, though, like there is a reason to not trust Fury. That is why. Look, if Fury had a squeaky clean record, then I guarantee it wouldn't show credence or it wouldn't give credence to any of this other stuff. But since he does, I'm gonna say I don't know.
But
What if?
Corley, I have a question.
Let's go.
If Wilder is so sure that Fury is a cheater and that he cheated in the last fight, why did he accept another fight with him? Why is he fighting him again? If he's sure he's going to cheat, I mean, this is just like, this is at a level where you're giving yourself a built-in excuse if you lose the next fight.
You can look at it that way. I completely understand. That is one way you can look at it.
So why fight him again if you're so sure?
Well, I can speculate on the other.
I have a reason why.
Why?
Tell us.
It's a retirement check. He's fucking done. That's why.
All right. So I can speculate on the other end, right? I can be like, you know what? Wilder really wants his vindication. He really wants to beat Fury convincingly. That's the way I see it. I mean, you can look at it one way, and I could easily flip it on the other side, and then look at it at the other. That's it. But the thing is that I don't understand how. Yes, Wilder's excuses have bordered and grazed ridiculousness. Yes, they have. But I don't understand how this absolves Fury in all of this, especially when you consider his past. Like, I've never, ever seen people forget about a boxer's past the way that they have with Tyson Fury. This dude should get no passes. None. Not with all the crap that he's done.
Let me ask you something.
Wait, hold on. There was a ref that actually came out, and this is after Fury fought Cunningham, as a matter of fact. And that's a real interesting fight, by the way. But after Fury fought Cunningham, he was like, you know what? Yeah. He was like, you know what?
He got sat down. He got sat down in that fight, right?
He got sat down in that fight, and he got up just like he did against Wilder, and he got himself together and started mugging Cunningham. But anyway, the ref actually came out and was like, you know what? Fury is the dirtiest fighter that I've seen in the past 25 years. In all of my years of refereeing, Fury is the dirtiest fighter that I've ever seen. And he actually said, mind you, I refed against Andrew Galata 3 times. And I was like, you know what? There you go. And you know how much of a nutcase Galata was. You know that. But that's what he said. That's another account.
Well, let me ask you this.
Wait.
Go ahead.
On top of the sparring partner, on his Instagram, coming out talking about, look at all the padding gone from Fury's gloves. You know, shaking the gloves and all of the little, you know, the lint and all that coming out of it. I mean, like, this actually happened, but nobody wants to consider this. Now,
But why? But why don't they want to consider it? And I'll give you an explanation why. You had representatives of Fury's camp of Wilder's camp in Fury's locker room while they were wrapping and gloving Fury's hands. So if that was the case, then maybe Fury is a cheater, but maybe
he fired the wrong guy.
Maybe he fired the wrong guy, or maybe they're so incompetent that they couldn't see something so evident to all the Wilder fans.
And that,
because it's not evident to anybody else, it's only evident to the Wilder fans.
But that brings me to my initial statement, though, that I don't really strike this out. Because look, through all of this, what is Wilder doing? He's getting his damn hands taped. He's getting his damn hands wrapped. He's not in there looking at it. So that's why I said I might have to shift my side eye toward his team. I don't think that they're very competent top to bottom. Besides like Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman, those dudes are competent businessmen, and they know what it takes to make big fights. But as far as like the ins and outs of actual boxing, I don't. JD's man, like I'm not impressed by this dude.
I want to show this costume one more time because I just find
look at y'all.
I just find
Look at
it.
this.
There's no reason to be impressed with anybody.
I just find
the
it
man
hilarious.
has never learned to box.
There-
Even with Freeland, he boxed one time that I saw, the first Laverne fight. That's it. Every other fight, he falls in love with his right hand. He loses rounds to Ortiz in both fights. He loses rounds to pretty much everybody except for Brazil in recent memory. He loses rounds over and over and over again, and then he lands his home run.
That's the new Wilder.
And well, you know what? That guy, there better be a new Wilder. There better be something that Malik Scott was able to do with him so he can be able to handle what Fury throws at him. Because if there isn't, it might not last as long as it did before.
Or it might.
So let's talk about the fight then.
All right, so he'll get knocked out in 7 rounds again.
So let's talk. So is that your prediction? He's getting knocked down in 7 rounds again, Joey?
Me? No.
How long do you think this fight is going to last?
I'm kind of stuck between two places. I'm kind of stuck between Tyson Fury being really, really annoyed at all the accusations, and he is going to punish him in 3 rounds. Or it goes about as long as the old fight, or the second fight, and maybe a little longer, 8-9 rounds. I'm somewhere in there, but Wilder will get stopped.
Does Wilder's new training coach or his new lessons that he's been taking from Malik Scott, is that going to help? Is that going to be a factor in this fight?
No,
at
because
all?
there's they can't spar against anyone Tyson Fury's size that has the same skills that they could have learned from. There's nothing they can do to replicate that in sparring. So whatever they did in sparring, and everybody look, Evander Holyfield looked real good in sparring and hitting the heavy bag, and then come on, imagine if Mike Tyson would have fought him. Actually, it would have been a massacre. So Wilder, he put up some ridiculous videos of lifting weights and struggling, and I'm not making fun of him because I don't have the guns either. But
that's 315. That's weight.
I'm not a professional.
I got you.
Well, I'm gonna give you my view of this.
I'm somewhere between 3 and 9 rounds, but he will lose again and he will get knocked out.
I think that
it'd just be funny if they threw in the towel again.
I think that it's going to be a better fight than the last fight. I think that Wilder is going to retain something that what he learned from Malik Scott, and a little bit of movement might prolong the fight a little bit. But I just don't think that Wilder is just he's not going to have the same pop on his fists going back, fighting backwards and fighting laterally than he does coming forward. I just don't see it. So I think that once Fury is able to put his weight on Wilder again, those toothpick legs, because I've seen some pictures on social media, and those those things are about to snap. I think that it's going to affect him the same way, and he's going to revert back to the same thing that he did in the second fight.
Right.
It may happen, 8, 9, 10th round, but I find and nobody can deny Wilder has power. Wilder has incredible knockout power, and that's a possibility. He can land a shot, and this can be a fight where he recovers his belts if he knocks Fury out. But Fury's size, if he does come in like they said he was going to come in at 300 pounds instead of 270, he'll be able to absorb just about anything that Wilder throws at him, unless it's an equilibrium shot.
He did in the second fight. Remember, Wilder landed that right hand in the first and the second round. And what happened by the third round? Oh, they punched me in the back of the head. They cheated. The ref let it go. They cheated. How many times do you need to see that replay to see that it was like right there? It was right behind the ear. It was a legal punch.
It was a good shot. It was
a legal punch, but that was one of the other excuses too. That the ref let a rabbit punch slide.
Fucking ref.
the only thing that I
Yeah,
see in
okay.
this,
There we go.
the
There you go.
only uncertainty that I see in this fight with Fury himself is that there's been talk about him not training. There's been talk about him being, like he puts it, fit as a fiddle. There's been a lot of contradicting talk on what Fury has been doing. But I will say this, and I heard this in his last interview that I heard, where he was talking about his COVID issues, where he tested positive twice, and he had it. He said the first time last year was worse than the second time. But he also mentioned that in between him getting COVID, that he was out partying, he was in Vegas for 2 months, hanging out, having a great time. And so,
Remember, he provided no documentation of his COVID either. That's another one. I got a problem.
Has Teofimo provided anything for you?
Fuck no.
Let me ask a question. Did Oscar De La Hoya provide any information about his COVID?
He provided a hospital bed. That's what he provided.
You can go check into the hospital and get an IV. Say you're dehydrated and get an IV and get in a hospital bed and show a picture of it.
Can you do that now?
Yeah.
Not one person.
Well,
not one person that has had COVID has proved that they have. And because he was out the next day at a car dealership, Tyson Fury is full of shit. And the same goes for Teofimo. Said he had COVID. 2 days later, he went to Italy. And if you had COVID, you couldn't leave the country. So he was full of shit.
You see what I mean?
Apparently, the agency
to not trust Tyson Fury.
Let me give you the story that, as far as I know it, the agency was in charge of testing the fighters for this fight. There was a private agency, and the person that sits on the board of that agency sits on the board of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and that's why Bob ended up saying, probably mistakenly or erroneously, that they had already given proof, because the Nevada State Athletic Commission doctor was the one that diagnosed it, which directly no, but if he was involved in the company that did do the test, then he can relay that information to the athletic commission too.
There was not one cohesive story regarding that. It wasn't anything clear regarding that. Remember, they said they got it from a sparring partner, but then the sparring partners went over to the was it the Conor McGregor fight like 2 days later on that weekend or whatever, and then they said that F.A. Ajagba had it, and F.A. Ajagba was like, "No, I didn't have it." Then they said that Jared Anderson had it. And then Jared Anderson, he didn't have it. He was over here. He was like, "I'm in Houston. I'm training." You know,
But how is this an advantage for Fury at all, other than Wilder slacking up thinking, "Oh, he got COVID. He's going to be less."
Tell the truth. Gotta tell the truth. The fight should have already.
Well, maybe
Wilder
he
should
did.
have already knocked this dude out in June.
If we talk about telling the truth, then Wilder is as guilty as Fury, because Wilder has.
We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't You see what I mean? I know. I understand the face.
Wait. Because all I heard from Wilder fans was he has proof of him cheating. It's all going to come out. Where? Mm-hmm. Where is it? He made all those accusations.
I mean,
the egg weights. Where is the proof in all that?
These guys are sounding like Rudy Giuliani and all these people.
It's just like you a newspaper prints a false story.
Yeah.
And then they get called out on it, and then they print a retraction, but nobody pays attention to the retraction.
But
everybody said we're gonna have proof. We have proof.
See the thing? Okay, look, this is what we're gonna do, right? Because we're supposed to be balanced, we're supposed to be objective, right? Right?
Right. Well, you only want to listen to what he said in the ring, and not
the same energy for one
end he made.
Has to be the same energy for the other end. That's the thing. It has to be the same energy both ways. It has to be. It has to be. That's the thing. Okay, Wilder made excuses. Okay, cool. Fury is a serial liar, deceptive, cheater, whatever.
Well,
it goes both ways.
Pick your liar. That's all it is at this point.
I picked the right hand. KO violently via one round.
I picked the guy who won the first 2 fights.
8 rounds.
That's what I'm doing. I'm picking the guy because you want to go on Tyson Fury's history. His history is beating up Deontay Wilder. That's his history.
And then let's go back farther than that. Let's peel back the onion.
No. That's all. I just want to go back to the interview in the ring. That's it. That's all I want to do.
But look, in all seriousness,
we can play that game all day.
In all seriousness, this is the thing. Logic will tell you, right, that in rematches and trilogies, all of that, you always go with the boxer. You always go with the better tactician. You always do. You know, that's what logic will tell you. And yes, it is very, very easy to pick Tyson Fury, especially after that second fight. Very easy. But at the same time, I just don't. And this is just me. This is a feeling that I have. I don't trust Fury. He's good. He can fight. Mentally, I don't trust him. Physically, I don't really think that matters as much just because of that weight disparity. That weight disparity is a lot to overcome. But I cannot count on Fury to be 100% focused, 100% dedicated, and 100% aware all of the time, given his history, right? So that is why, just like I did in the second fight, I'm going to pick Wilder. KO, not round 1, but it has to be early. Now, if it goes anywhere past 7,
I agree with that.
Now, if it goes anywhere like past 7, I can see Wilder's energy being zapped again because of that weight. You know, Fury laying on him and mugging him and leaning on him and all of that. But if it between rounds 1 and 5, I got to go with Wilder, man. Via KO. That's it. That's me.
All right, I got to ask you guys something before we give official predictions. Does Fury change anything?
Absolutely not. Why would he? And what is there to change? Because the thing is that he boxed 2 different ways in 2 fights. I mean, what is he going to do? A mix between the 2? No. You know, Fury is awkward. He feints. He does a lot of foot feints. He's real herky-jerky. What is there to change? He destabilizes you. No, there's nothing to change.
The only thing he's going to have to do differently is to chase down Wilder a little bit more than he did in the last fight, because I think Wilder was going to have a little bit more mobility. I mean, you say you can't teach a dog new tricks and all that, but Wilder's not a dumb guy. I mean, he has some boxing ability. He's a former Olympian, and he's going to learn something out of, especially since this fight.
So he's going to learn how to play keep away. You're saying?
I think so, and that's a smart thing to do in order to keep your legs.
Can he win rounds like that?
No.
You did before?
No.
You did before?
Who?
Wilder.
When?
Not it. First fight. He won rounds.
I was at the first fight, and
he won 3 rounds, maybe.
I gave him 2 rounds and maybe 3 at the most in that fight.
3.
Yeah.
But then again, there wasn't much.
He won 2 rounds because
there wasn't much activity in all the other rounds.
Oh my God.
But Wilder, there were rounds where Wilder didn't even land a jab in that fight. 0 punches landed and 2 punches thrown in 1 round. You can't win a fight that way.
Those early rounds in the first fight were closer than people give him credit for. Those early rounds in the first fight. So I mean, he's arguably won rounds. Like I don't think that was the 10-2. I don't think it was that. But those early rounds, you can argue.
It's a different perspective on.
You said
at the venue.
First fight, he said after the first fight he was congratulating the UK boys. He was congratulating them. He knew he lost.
For sure.
He knew he had a gift. Yes. So then that tells me that you don't believe he won rounds right after.
No. I don't believe he won enough rounds. I don't believe he won enough rounds.
Okay.
But he put some rounds in the bank.
If it's 7-5 and 2 knockdowns, if it's 7-5 Fury and 2 knockdowns, isn't that a draw?
That's a draw. Yes.
So he didn't win. He didn't win 5 rounds.
Might have won 3. You know.
That's what I said. Oh my God.
Might have won 3.
He won 3, and 2 of them are rounds he got knockdowns in. He did
Hey,
not outbox him at
he
any
can-
point. At any point.
Hey, you can't say. See, the thing is that you're trying to guide me to use your words. No, he won the rounds. I'm not going to say outbox. I'm not going to say that because
Okay.
Fury
He
is
won.
the better boxer.
He might have outboxed him one round, maybe in one of those close rounds, and he knocked him down. And he knocked him down in 2 rounds. So there's your
There
3
you go.
rounds. Yeah.
All right,
So he
so
lost 9-3.
let's
No problem.
let's
Close.
let's
History
talk about
tells me that Tyson Fury is going to beat him again because he beat him twice.
so predictions, final predictions, so that we can wrap it up and continue. I know Joey wants to watch the fights again.
I'm going to go KO9. KO9 Fury.
KO9 Tyson Fury over Deontay Wilder for Joey.
And because it'll last because of what you said. I think you're right. I think he'll stay away. Wilder won't win. He won't win rounds like that, but he'll stay away long enough to last a little bit longer. But if he goes for it early and doesn't get it, he might get knocked out earlier. But I'm gonna go KO9. That's fine.
Corling, what do you got?
You know what's up.
What do you got?
You know what's up.
You got to put it on paper. You got to put it in writing. You got to raise your
Wilder.
right hand and swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Corling hell. He don't got that L for nothing.
Wilder KO.
Wilder
Between rounds 1 and 5. Let's get him.
between rounds
Eat him up.
1 and 5.
1 and 5.
I think it's going to be a stoppage. I don't know if it's going to be an actual KO. Because according to Wilder, getting stopped is not an actual KO.
That's right.
But I think that the corner this time is not going to stop it for him, even if he's getting murdered in there. But I think the referee will stop it unless he's paid off. So I think it's going to be a TKO, but it's going to be between rounds 10 and 12. I don't think it may make it 12 rounds, but Wilder won't be able to win any rounds going back and moving side to side against a guy that's going to be peppering him with jabs and right hands and feints. It's going to freeze him again. So it's going to be either Wilder by decision. I mean, Tyson Fury by decision, very unlikely. But it's definitely, to me, it's going to be Fury TKO between 10, 11, or 12. So that's my prediction. I hope it's a great fight. I went to the first fight. I really wanted to go to the second fight, but I wasn't able to. And this one, I'm happy to watch on TV on a bona fide stream for this one.
In a bona fide bar, because I ain't paying for that shit.
So anyway, we'll leave it at that for today. This is our first live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we had in the beginning. But I know not just me. Before we actually went live, we had some other technical difficulties, some camera issues. But maybe next time we can talk about
Corlin. You keeping that stereotype about black people alive?
Hey man, it's true. We complicated.
Anyway, and then maybe in our next episode, we can do a recap of this fight and talk about Bud Crawford versus Sean Porter,
you got Canelo in plant too.
Which I'm going to that
and
fight.
Talk shit about Canelo.
That's right.
We ain't letting that dude slide.
We are going to say goodbye for now. Good to see you back again, and click our video, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and do all those things that make us become your favorite channel to watch this kind of content.